Are you Boan? A warm welcome or welcome back to my channel. For everyone who is new here, my name is Uwe Müller and I come from Germany. This is my fourth visit to the Wilpattu National Park. I have already been here in 2024, 2025 and this year, 2026. All visits were full-day safaris organized by Nature Trails. Nature Trails is part of the Cinnamon Group. You can find all of these safaris and others here on my channel. Just like in 2024 and 2025, I'm on safari with Gayan Pradeep, the naturalist from Nature Trails. There was a little surprise. He had the same driver as in 2024. His name is Sandon, a very nice and friendly person. I always try to get a flatbed off-road vehicle. You don't sit as high in it as in the usual off-road vehicles or modified pickups. These are usually very old vehicles that are well maintained because there is a big demand from wildlife photographers. Wildlife photographers and videographers want to be on eye level with an animal. The steep top-down angle should definitely be avoided. Even with elephants, I prefer to photograph slightly from below to emphasize their majestic size. This is Sandon, the driver, a very good and experienced driver. He had his vehicle newly painted and also renewed this and that. Okay, let's start adventure. Let's see what we will get to see today. Are you all as excited as I am? No, let it open. I think I will need it.
Very clear.
Yeah, good. The optic is from size dressed from China.
That's good.
Oh yes, this is a good idea.
Want to fix the clamp here? In the box?
I think I can use this. I will check it out. It is a try. It was a thought. I saw it on YouTube of Ella McCartney. She's only around in Africa, but I saw her. She had always the clamp and the fluid niger and the fluid head. Fluid head or the video head. And I think, wow, let's try. This is not expensive. I think I bought 35 euro or something.
Now this, I have all the same fluid head for the scope. Very easy.
But you see, here's no place for a tripod. Here we have one of the most beautiful birds in Sri Lanka, the black-backed dwarf kingfisher. He is the smallest of the kingfisher family in Sri Lanka. He grows between 12.5 to 14 centimeter, 4.9 to 5.5 inches. In total, 7 species of the kingfisher family are known in Sri Lanka. Anyone interested in my other safaris can find them here on my channel. I think it is worth subscribing to my channel if you are interested in wildlife or interested in beautiful places. I have traveled to many countries in the past, but I had only taken photos. But with videography I only started in 2024. Before that, I had only tried out the video function on my Canon EOS 5D Mark III and Canon EOS R5 once, but never really used it seriously. But I'm still relatively young at 62 and hopefully will go on many more trips and short getaways. And hopefully still be able to excite you with many interesting videos. The subscription does not cost any money, but it would support my channel. Comments are also very welcome. A recommendation, whether with a link or word of mouth, would also support my channel. Okay, now let's see what other surprises are waiting for us. Oops, there's a water buffalo right in the middle of the pad. Better keep a distance and wait. Guyan and I are taking the opportunity. Of course. Guyan was taking photos and I was filming with 35mm, since I had the RF 15 to 35mm f2.8 on the Canon EOS R5. The RF 600 f4 on the EOS R5 Mark II is too big for this distance and the size of such an animal. I wanted to avoid changing lenses. We stopped in one of the lakes. We watched, photographed and filmed the animals we came across there. I really enjoy being in Wilpattu National Park because it is not as crowded as, for example, Yala National Park, which is usually visited by a lot of tourists. Wilpattu National Park is the oldest and largest national park in Sri Lanka and is located in the northwest of Sri Lanka. After the warning, there will be some scenes for about 1.5 minutes that might be disturbing for some people. A crocodile has a turtle in its mouth and is trying to eat it. At first, you cannot see anything because the crocodile is laying deep in the water, but after. That is the natural behavior of a carnivore. From time to time, the Manfrotto 035 Super Clamp with the Leofoto BV 15 flute and video head is briefly visible, attached to a vertical steel brace or rod. I discovered this in the videos by Ella McKendrick and bought it in October 2025. You can find the link to her channel on the homepage in the overview of my channel. I'm using it for the first time and I'm thrilled. The clamp loosely holds the EOS R5 Mark II with the cooling van grip and the RF 600mm f4 in position, with and without the extenders. Unfortunately, I use it too rarely as the animals were often on the other side of the vehicle. For whatever reason, I unfortunately did not set it up. I won't make this mistake a second time. Hey, hey, hey! A great surprise to Ruddy Mongoose. I like these little snake killers. They are among my favorite animals. Let's be honest, isn't that fascinating? It does not always have to be the leopard, golden jackal or elephant. The nature has so many fascinating wonders for us. You just have to look closely. Time and again we drive around in cycles, hoping to see leopards or golden jackals. The paddy field pivot in a sea of blossoms. Simply beautiful. Recently, we heard the growl of a leopard. With the binoculars, we were able briefly to spot a leopard among the bushes and trees. Now we hope that the leopard comes closer to the pad, or better, onto the pad. We were in contact with the other drivers the whole time, hoping that at least they would see something. After some time, much waiting and listening to see if we could hear anything from the leopard, we decided to give up. We had no success. So we decided to drive to the rest area Kumbuk Villa and have lunch there. We reached the Kumbuk Villa resting point for lunch. Almost everyone stops here for lunch or a bathroom break. We were in the focus of this toad macaque and kept trying to snatch something from the vehicle. But everything was packed securely in our bags and backpacks, as it is well known that toad macaques like to snatch things. He managed to grab a cookie, which we had forgotten. Suddenly, Gayan called me. He had spotted an elephant in the water, which was grazing. Gayan explained to me that it was a very old elephant and its teeth were not so good anymore. That is why all the elephants go into the water to eat the soft water plants. But the younger elephants also occasionally eat water plants, since they are very nutritious and rich in minerals. They are also a good addition to their diet. Almost at the end of the safari, we came across a slot bear eating fruit tied up in a tree trunk. 5 off-road vehicles were already there. It is a Java plum, and the tree's red berries are sweet and tempting. In the English language, also called Malabar plum, Jumbalum, black plum, Chaman or Chumbal. The main food of the slot bear is insects, and termites make up a very large part. However, when fruits are ripe, the slot bear does not shy away from them. Unfortunately, the slot bear is often hidden by branches. Hopefully you can still recognize and observe the slot bear.
lupa.
Lupa no? Pena.
It is already late and we are on our way to the exit. Just a few last records of the beautiful landscape. I was thinking about booking a second full day's Wilpattu safari, but things turned out differently. Enjoy the view a little longer. I will check in one more time at the end. Unfortunately, the end of the safari has been reached. At the end, as a goodbye, we still saw a mega crocodile. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and support my channel with a subscription. The subscription costs nothing. We will see each other again on my channel. Your Uwe Müller. Are you Uwe?